Hello everyone, my name is Kayla from Chromatic Crochet, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this adorable little earring hanger. This pattern is designed for beginners to intermediate. It does have a couple of options to make it a little bit more exciting, but if you're just a beginner, it should be pretty easy for you as well. It is recommended that you have a base knowledge of how to do the beginner stitches. That includes single crochets, half double crochets, and double crochets, but it should be pretty simple if you know how to do those. We are going to be exploring a few different stitches, so it should be a good time. Now, there's two parts to this earring hanger. There is the base, which is the green bit here that the earrings hang on, and then the second part is the scalloped edging with the beads. Now, the second part is 100% optional. You do not have to add this if you don't want to, but I think it adds a little bit of flair to it. Now, let's go over some materials you will need to complete this project. Of course, you are going to need a good yarn. This is a worsted weight yarn, or a size 4. This is from Michaels. I don't know the brand of it, but it is 100% acrylic in whatever color you want. And then if you do choose to do the scalloped edging, you will need a size 2 yarn. This one happens to be 100% cotton, but you can use any size 2 yarn that you want. You will also need some crochet hooks. If you are just doing the base part, you only need a 5.5. And if you are doing the scalloped edging, you will need a size 4. And of course, it wouldn't be an earring hanger if you didn't have a wooden dowel. This one is 12 inches long, but this pattern is pretty customizable, so you can make it however big or small you want, so whatever wooden dowel you have will work just fine. You will need some tapestry needles. If you are only doing the base part, you only need one to fit your size 4 yarn. But if you are doing the scalloped edging, you will need a smaller one, and this will be used to thread the beads onto the scalloped edging. So you want to make sure that whatever beads you are using fits through the smaller needle. So I'm going to be using these small little brown wooden beads, and you just want to make sure that your needle can go all the way through the bead comfortably, because we are going to be using this needle to thread the beads onto our yarn. You need to make sure that the needle goes through the bead. And you will need a pair of scissors or something to cut the yarn. And I always have a few stitch markers lying around just in case I need to hold my stitch. But this is all of the materials you will be needing. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the base of this earring holder is worked up in the sedge stitch. So we're gonna go over how to do that as we start. All right, so we are going to go ahead and create a slip knot. So taking the loose end and putting it down, I'm going to wrap over my 2 fingers, wrap back up over, and then I'll clamp it down so you have this X shape, okay? We're going to go under the bottom one, grab the top one, and pull through. Okay, so it should look like this. And then I'm going to keep it on my hook, and I am going to tighten it. And there is our slip knot. Now, for this earring holder, like I said, it is customizable, so you can make it as big or as small as you want. So if you want it a different size, all you have to do is chain a multiple of 3 plus 1, and then adding 2 more for the base. Okay, so in this tutorial, we are going to chain 39. So our base will really be 36, but we've got plus 1 and 2 for the chain. So we are going to go ahead and chain 39. And I'm gonna go ahead and count and make sure I counted correctly. Okay, so I've got my chain of 39 here, and we are going to do the first row of the sedge stitch. We are going to skip 2 chains, so that's 1 and 2, and we are going to work into this one. We are going to work a half double crochet and a double crochet in the same stitch. So we're going to do a half and a double. And there is our first sedge stitch. Now the chain 2 did count as one of our single crochet, so in the next sedge stitch we will do all 3. So continuing on, we are going to skip 2, so there's 1, 2, and in this third stitch we are going to place a single, a half double, and a double crochet. And that's all the sedge stitch is, okay? It is a skip 2, so 1, 2, a single crochet, a half double crochet, and a double crochet, all in the same stitch. So I've got 3 sedge stitches here. There's 1, 2, 3. And we are going to do this across all of our chains. So I'll do one more with you. So we're going to skip 2, 1, 2. In this third stitch, we are going to single, half double, and double crochet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and I will see you at the end. Once you have only 3 stitches left in your chain, we are going to skip 2, and we are going to place 1 single crochet. We will not place a sedge stitch in the last chain. For row 2, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. This chain 1 counts as our first single crochet of our sedge. So we are going to half double crochet into the first stitch and double crochet in the same stitch. We are going to skip 2, and in the third stitch we will place a sedge stitch, so that's going to be a single crochet, a half double crochet, and a double crochet. And we are going to continue that all the way across. So skip 2, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and I will see you guys when you have only 3 stitches left. All right, once you have only 3 stitches left, we are going to skip 2 and place a single crochet in that last stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Now we are going to repeat row 2 until we have 24 rows. So I'm going to do a couple of rows, and then I will show you guys an easy way to count your rows as you continue. I like to count this way just to keep track of where I'm at. So let me build up a couple of rows and I will show you guys how I count them. Okay, I am some number of rows in. I was just going to show you guys how I do my little counting here. I'm going to zoom you in and show you guys. I'm going to use my hooked point. So we find our first row here, and they're like little squares, each sedge stitch. And if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you're only counting half of them. Okay, so you can count the big squares. So that we counted 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and double it. That's 16 sedge stitches we've done. Or you can count the little indent spaces. So here is row 1 of our sedge stitch. Our row 2 is this little indent space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This is how I keep track of my rows because I will forget if I'm trying to count as I'm building it up. So I just thought I would show you guys how I do my little counting. I have 8 more rows to do, and then we will continue with the pattern, so I will meet up with you guys in a moment. Alrighty, we have 24 rows finished here. So if you are not doing the border with the beads, go ahead and skip to this timestamp so you can learn how to attach the pole to the crochet project. However, if you are going to do the beads in the border, stick around and we will go ahead and get started with that now. So we are going to start by putting the beads onto our 2-weight yarn. So to figure out how many beads you are going to need, so for every sedge stitch on the bottom row, you will use 1 bead. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll need 12 for the bottom. And for the 2 sides, you will need 1 bead for every 2 rows. So we have 24 rows, so that's 12, 12, and 12. So we will need to string 36 beads onto our fine weight yarn. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that. Threading our yarn. And you want to put all of your beads onto the yarn before you begin crocheting, so that way they are on the yarn and ready to use. I have all 36 of my beads on my yarn. As I'm working, I'm going to be pushing them down because I'm only going to be using one at a time, right? To begin the border, we are going to create that slip knot on our hook. I switched to my 4mm hook here. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but in reality, you can use any size yarn for the border you would like. I am simply choosing a smaller size because I want a delicate detail. But if you don't have a size 2 or you just want to use something else, that is totally okay too. You may have to adjust your hook size and how many of the shell stitches you place, but it is very possible to adjust this pattern to use whatever yarn you have available to you. Now on my base here, I have turned it, so this is right side up here. I'm going to turn it, and I placed a stitch marker. This yellow one is my active string here because we are going to use it later to attach the wooden dowel, so I just wanted to keep that secure. Now, however, these green ones I have placed here are just kind of designating in between my 2 rows of sedge stitches. So I've got 2 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows, and it just keeps going. And this is just a visual aid to help you guys see where I am placing these single crochets, because so the first row of our border is just going to be single crocheting all the way around on 3 sides of our base. So we need to place the correct number of single crochets as we are moving along, just so we can evenly distribute our beads later once we get to the shell stitches. So to start, I'm going to pull this tight here, and I'm going to, so holding the active yarn and the stitch marker out of the way, I'm going to insert my hook into that last stitch we made here, and going to place a slip stitch and chain 1, and then I'm going to place a single crochet into that same stitch. And I'm going to single crochet the tail in as we go along, so I don't have to weave it in later. But what we are looking for is we want 5 single crochets in between the stitch markers. So for every 2 rows of the sedge stitch, you want 5 single crochets, because each set of 5 single crochets is going to mean 1 shell stitch and use 1 bead. So we've got 1, so we're going to place 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to do the 5th one in the same stitch as the 4th one. It doesn't have to be perfect. The idea is just that we need 5 single crochets. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to try to evenly place them as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and take out this stitch marker. This is going to start our second set of 5 single crochets. So we are going to place 1, let's grab that tail, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 5. Once again, I'm placing 2 into that last space just so we have all 5. And now I'm going to continue this all the way across the edge, and I will meet you at the end stitch of this row. Alrighty, I made it to the last stitch, so I completed my last set of 5. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sets of 5 single crochets. So now that we have that, we are going to turn the corner and continue doing our single crochets. So to turn the corner, we are just going to chain 2. So 1, 2, and turn. Now this side's going to be a little bit different. We are going to place 5 single crochets in each sedge stitch. So each sedge stitch is made up of 3 different stitches. So in every 3 stitches, we will put 5 single crochets. So how we are going to do that, we will single crochet in the next stitch 3 single crochet, and in the next stitch 1 single crochet, and that will be our set of 5. So I will demonstrate real quick. And we are going to start our 5 inside of the same stitch that was the last of our other side. So we will do 1 single crochet. We will do 1, 2, 3 single crochet in the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next, and that is our set of 5. Be sure to continue to move the beads downstream as we keep working. They will slowly creep back up, but that's okay. And we'll do it again. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then 3 single crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 3, and then 1 single crochet. So we will continue this all the way across the bottom. Once you get to this corner, you're going to do the same as the other corner. You are going to make sure you finish your set of 5. You will chain 2, and then you will begin your next set in that same chain, and then work all the way up, placing 5 single crochets evenly between 2 sets of rows. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the single crochet row, and I will get back to you guys. Okay, so I finished the border on all 3 sides that we are going to do it on. So now that you've gotten to this point, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now this is where we are going to slowly begin to add our beads. So the beads go onto the peak of the shell stitches. So we are going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. We are going to double crochet once, double crochet a second time into the same stitch. We are going to chain 1 and chain 2. We will place our bead, so slide your bead all the way up to your hook. We are going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, so 1, 2. So we are just going to slip into that first chain 1 we made. We will double crochet into that same stitch 2 more times. So there's 1 and 2. We are going to skip one stitch and single crochet into the next. So there is our first bead placement. So I'll show it to you one more time and then we will go ahead and go across the row. So we are going to skip 2, 1, 2. Into that third, we are going to double crochet once, double crochet twice, chain 2. We are going to place our bead, slip stitch into that first chain 1, and then double crochet twice more into that same stitch. We'll skip one stitch and single crochet into the next. And that is how we place our beads. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row and I will meet you at this first corner here. Alrighty, as you can see here, I have made it to the corner bit here. So I finished my last shell. So you should have 12 on the bottom, 12 on the side, and we are going to put our last 12 beads on this side here. So to work your corner, you are just going to keep moving. So we did a single crochet, so we are going to skip 2, and we are ignoring that chain 2 space. So we are going to skip 1, 2 stitches, 1, 2 stitches, and double crochet into that third one, chain 2, find our next bead, slip stitch in that first single crochet, and then double crochet twice more in the same stitch, skip one stitch, and single crochet. So you'll just do that 11 more times until you reach the end. Alrighty, so we finished our border here on all 3 sides. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to begin attaching our wooden dowel. So with this white yarn we've been using for the border, I'm just going to give it a chain 1. I'm going to pull through the loop, my scissors here to snip it, and I'm going to pull out that yarn. So it should be secure and we will weave that in a little while. We are switching back to our 5.5mm hook, the same hook we used for the base. And I'm going to flip it over so that my starting stitch is on the right side. I'm going to pull up and get back into our working stitch here. And we are going to attach our wooden dowel. Alright, so we are all set up here. I'm going to lay my yarn, working yarn flat back here and stick my dowel on top. And it will be able to move around, so it doesn't have to be perfectly center right now. But we are going to essentially just slip stitch to start. So now that we've slip stitched onto, so we've got one chain on here, we are going to the first stitch of the sedge here. We're going to pull our yarn behind the dowel to yarn over, pull through the loop, and then pull through both of our loops for a single crochet. And we are just going to repeat that process all the way across. I'll go ahead and zoom you in. Bring the yarn over the dowel and then under, so it's ready for us. Insert our hook into the next stitch. we're going to pull through and single crochet and tighten. And then we are going to redo it. So we're going to bring our yarn around, insert the hook, pull the yarn through, and single crochet. So we're going to continue to keep attaching the dowel all the way across using this method. It's just a single crochet, but you're bringing your yarn around the dowel each time. So we are attaching the dowel as we crochet along. So I will meet you at the end and we will go ahead and work our strap so we can hang it onto the wall. Okay, I've got my wooden dowel completely attached now. I just single crocheted into each of the stitches and wrapped it around the dowel. So now we get to make our strap, which is going to allow us to hang it onto the wall. So you can make your strap as long or as short as you would like. For this size earring hanger, I personally am going to chain 50. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 50 chain and see you in a moment. Alright, I have my chain of 50 here, and we are going to attach it to this other side here. So I am going to take my hook, I'm going to find that first single crochet that we did while attaching the dowel and stick my hook through. I'm going to take my yarn and go around and pull it through, and I'm just going to make a slip stitch here. I will then take my yarn, bring it back around, and I'm going to chain 1, and we are going to pull through. From here, we can cut our yarn, and we are almost finished. We just have to weave in these 2 last little ends here. So let's grab our tapestry needles and finish that. I like to weave in my ends going in multiple different directions. I kind of try to make like a circle shape almost, or a square, to kind of lock the yarn so it can get tugged in any direction and not come out. So I just kind of go into whatever stitches I can find, moving around in kind of a circle shape. And once I've gone through, I'd say at least 10 stitches, you can go ahead and trim off the extra. And I'm going to do the same for the white. And for the white tail, obviously I'm going to weave it in the white portion so you can't see it anywhere, and we make it nice and hidden. Moving in a nice circle shape. And then snip off the extra. And from here we just get to flip it over and enjoy our finished project here. Now you can dress this up with whatever earrings you would like, or you could also use it to put your decorative pins or brooches, or honestly you can use it for whatever you would like, but I've been using mine for my pretty little earrings and I have honestly really been loving it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. This is my first tutorial on this channel, so it's been a little rough, but If you guys have any feedback or comments, be sure to leave them down below. I would love to hear from you guys. If you do end up making this project and you post to someone on social media, be sure to tag me. I can't wait to see what color combinations and what you guys do with this pattern. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.